Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. Welcome back to Old Man Rambles. My my daughter and my son-in-law um, stayed with us last week. They're having some work done on their house, and they really didn't have to be out more than a day or two. But there was going to be noise and construction and stuff. They had to be out for a couple days because of they were spraying insulation. There was fumes and stuff, so they kind of had to be out of the house for a couple days. But they were probably with us from last week, Monday after work until Saturday morning when they packed up and went home. They brought their two pugs with them. Their pugs are very excitable. Had some tense moments with the cat, but they eventually developed, an understanding amongst themselves. They actually played for a little bit together, which was fun to watch. That they were getting along. Um, and it was a nice, comfortable situation. My eldest daughter works in a nursing home, so she left the house every day. But my son-in-law worked. I gave up my computer desk for a week. He set up in here to work from home. You know, he'd come out in the morning and have a cup of tea with us, breakfast, come out and have lunch with us. We had dinner together as a family. You know, but we would in the evenings retreat to our spaces. My wife would go and watch television. Anthony would come in here and play World of Warcraft. I would go sit. I moved this computer out in the living room, and in the den. I would get on my computer. My daughter would read books. We all do our things. We It was a nice, pleasant, companionable week. And I remember Wednesday afternoon, I was, during my lunch hour, I was wheeling the trash down to the curb. I bumped into my wife's Aunt Joanne, who lives across the street. She said, "Hey, how's it going? How's having company in the house?" She said, "Here, you got some company. You must be exhausted." Like, no, it's good. Like, why would we be exhausted? And then on Friday, I actually had to go, not to work. We had like this team building exercise. I had to leave the house, and my wife was going to be here with my son-in-law. And one of my wife's coworkers said, "Boy, it must be really weird to be alone in the house with your son-in-law." And she was like, "No, it's fine." And it occurs to me that this is not a unique situation. I remember when I was actually in the office, when we had an office, my boss's boss shared an office space with us, and he was like constantly saying, "I can't wait till my kids get out of the house, and I can do some stuff." And he wasn't the only one. Most everyone I ever spoke to who had kids around my age or who had kids at all always expressed great excitement with their children leaving the house. And I don't get it. I really don't. When my oldest daughter left the house to go to college, it broke my heart. It really did. Um, and same when my youngest daughter left the house. That just, I didn't want them to leave. I love my children. I like my children. I don't just love them. I enjoy their company. They're good people. Both my daughters are giant nerds like I am, so obviously we have stuff in common. My daughter reads, they don't necessarily play the same video games, but they both play video games. They both like nerdy movies. They both read nerdy books. My older daughter is a bit more into role-playing games and gaming and tabletop stuff, but my youngest daughter isn't in music. She's a music teacher. So, I have things in common with my children. I enjoy their company. My son-in-law, Anthony, is a massive gamer, huge nerd. He and I get along great. As far as I'm concerned, my kids can move back in tomorrow. I would be thrilled beyond belief to have my kids here. Uh, this house isn't set up for half a dozen adults. We would have to remodel a little bit to give us all our own space, but they're all adults. They work. We could split the cost. I would be more than happy to do that. I would love that. That is my dream. You know, Beyond winning the lottery and retiring, having my kids nearby, being able to see my kids every day, you know, is that would be a dream for me. That would be awesome. When when my daughter and my son-in-law, left Saturday morning, we gave big hugs, and I told them thank you for being here. And they were like, no, 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 you guys did us a great favor, letting us stay here. It's like, no, this was all to my benefit. This benefited me more than it did you. Last week was honestly the happiest I've been in weeks, possibly months. And it's like I said, we didn't hang out all the time. We had dinner together every night. We hung out for, half an hour, maybe 45 minutes after dinner, and then we went on our separate ways and did our own things. But I was deliriously happy for an entire week because my kids were here. I do not know how anyone could consider that a burden, or want your kids gone. I mean, granted, I know some people who have awful children. I can imagine them wanting them gone. But even so, it just seems to be such a common thing for people to be happy when their children leave. And it just doesn't make any sense to me at all. Good hunting.